Afternoon. My name is Sherry Sepvin. I am the Seminole County Magistrate, and we are going to go ahead and get started. The way the process works is the county will present its case first and provide any witnesses and testimony evidence that it has. You certainly can cross-examine any of the county witnesses at that time. And then once the county rests, though, it will be your opportunity to present your case and any witnesses and evidence that you have as well. I will make a decision here today. If you are found in violation, you'll be given a period of time to come into compliance. And if you do not comply within the time period and you are here for the first time, you stand to have a penalty of up to $250 a day imposed, and if you are here as a repeat violation, you stand to have a penalty of up to $500 a day imposed. If you do have a copy of the agenda, please understand we do not follow the order of the agenda. We've got our process that we go through up here, so just be patient. If you have signed in, you will be called. And if you haven't signed in, please make sure that you make contact with the county now. The first case that we're going to call is 2431 CESM. It's confidential under the Florida statutes. That is, I believe, an attorney, Mark Jones.
Thank you for that. I didn't know the case number.
Yep, no problem. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and before we get started, any county individuals who are going to be providing testimony, if you'll please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm, just county individuals, not cases at this point? When we call you up individually for your cases, you'll be sworn in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Okay. We're going to go ahead and get started. Kara, when you're ready.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Code Enforcement, East Region. This is case 2431 CESM, Respondents Confidential per Florida statute. This property is a vacant parcel located at Shady Lane in Geneva. Violation charge of Seminole County Land Development Code, Chapter 30, Part 17, Section 30.302, uses permitted. Storage and accessory structures on a vacant parcel is not a permitted use in an RM1 zoning district. The initial inspection was July 19th, 2023. Special magistrate order was December 4th, 2024 by 8 a.m. Follow-up inspections were 11/22/2024, which was the posting for this hearing. The order date on December 4th and again yesterday. The results of my inspection was the violations still remain on the property. These photos were taken on the initial inspection, July 19th, 2023. Same date. These photos were taken in the posting. The only thing that's been done is the RV has been removed, or the camper has been removed from the property. And these photos were taken on the day of the order, December 4th. And these photos were taken yesterday. Suggested recommendation by Code Enforcement Officer is for the Special Magistrate to issue an order constituting a lien retroactively back to December 4th, 2024 and continue to accrue until compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Okay, I don't have the order from this yet, the prior order. Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm going to stand. It's just
Okay.
what I do. This is not our first time here. I'm not sure if you recall this particular matter. The structures that are on the property are over 60 years old. And we did file for variances in about 2 or 3 months ago. I've been butting heads with staff over that. To the point where we're appealing the decision on it, and this matter is scheduled to go before the Board of Adjustment on January 27th. So I would ask the magistrate to just pump the brakes until we get this resolved. I've talked to 4 of our county commissioners, and all of them are on board with keeping these structures in place because common sense is going to prevail in this. but we've got to go through the administrative process to get there. So I've got a letter here, if you want me to bring it up to show you, from Rebecca Hammock and from Mr. Hall, that this is going to be on the January 27th Board of Adjustment.
Okay, I'm getting confirmation that that is correct. So then what I'll do, what is it, the January 24th?
27th.
27th?
Yes.
Okay, so that wouldn't happen before our January.
So it's set for a planning manager's appeal hearing.
Okay.
So what will come out of that would be whether or not the appeal is upheld or overturned. And then it would still, whether or not they need variances, don't need variances, whether or not they're going to need to permit a primary structure. So we will still need to determine at that point what the avenue is moving forward after that hearing.
Okay, so what I'll do is I will change the compliance date to February 7th. No, I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong calendar, February 12th. And if at the February 13th hearing, we have some more information where you still have to file for variances and we need to continue it again, we certainly can do that. But I think that'll at least give us the time to know what is going to happen at this appeal hearing. Okay, so I will go ahead and order a compliance continuance to February 12th with a compliance hearing of February 13th. Okay, thank you. That's, give me that too. Okay, for the record, I want to go ahead and let the record reflect that we're going to continue the compliance hearing on the Rebecca Wiggins case, 2440 CESM, due to illness. So we will hear that at our January meeting. The compliance date will be the same, but we'll just hear it at our January.
Contact the clerk?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
County had a different recommendation also, so,
Okay, it's
not
due,
different, but a different option.
okay,
What
well,
we were ready to present today, so that's perfect that it's.
yeah, we need to
That's
probably
great. We're on
just.
the same side.
Same, yeah, we'll still keep the compliance date the same, so she still would have had to come into compliance yesterday. But then, okay, thank you. And the next case that we're going to call, 2277 CESM B&B Land Holdings and James Betts, Ms. Groves. Hi. Will you be providing testimony?
He will not.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Building Department Inspector. This is case number 2277 CSM, B&B Land Holdings, James Betts, located at 3468 East SR 426. This case was originally heard by Special Magistrate October 13, 2022, and an order was issued giving the respondents a compliance date of January 12, 2023, with a fine of $50 per day to continue to accrue for each day the violation continued or was repeated. There have been several affidavits of noncompliance. On November 14, 2024, an order was issued giving the respondents a compliance date of December 11th, which was yesterday, with a meeting scheduled for today. The administrative costs for the clerk are $250.84. The administrative costs for the inspectors, $915.87, for a total of $1,166.71. Recommendation that the special magistrate issues an order constituting a lien retroactively back to January 12, 2023, and continues to accrue until in compliance. That
Wait.
completes my presentation.
There was a new compliance date, right? Was there, with a new compliance date of December 12th?
December 11th. Compliance date of December 11th,
Okay,
2024.
2024. So the lien you're asking for would start yesterday?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, all right. Is that all you have?
That's it.
Okay.
Okay, good afternoon. So just a brief background, as you already know, Madam Magistrate, this has been open since 2022. I got involved 4 months ago approximately and appeared at that August hearing. Before that time, unfortunately, our general contractor just ran away. We had to do a demand letter on him in August and then do a change of contractor. So we did all of that. We then resubmitted the plans, and as you know, Madam Magistrate, this is on a wall and a watchtower, and that's really it. So the problem we encountered when we resubmitted in September was that, sure enough, the same comments came back for the plans that were submitted, but for everywhere else except for the wall and the watchtower area. So we asked the county to sit down at a meeting and go through with all the departments, and actually Mr. Rucker was there. And at that time, the building department and the building official suggested that we bifurcate it essentially so that we can deal with the interior issues and the other problems with not having had permits submitted in a very long time, and just deal with this code enforcement issue. So that was done, and I do have some of those printouts from the portal that I can provide to you as well. And so right now we had, or at that time in November, we submitted and did a second permit. So November 26th, there is a second permit that was submitted, and that one was just for the outside. I say that the permit that was submitted by our GC now, that is for just the outside, still had the same site plan on it. And so what has happened is we have the separate permit issued and we have the original. The original one now has only one comment left, and it was for a site plan for a ground moving about the kennels. So it's just related to that. That is apparently, based off of my review of the workflow and routing slip, and based on the building department's representations, the last remaining issue for that permit. And so as of the 11th, we submitted that small site plan. So all day yesterday, we did that separate permit, and that is now in the system too. And so based off of those representations, that review takes 10 days, and that is in what I've been told, should resolve the final issue. And that's what I communicated to Mr. Rucker. However, when I go and now look at the bifurcated permit, there are comments again from the building department related to the interior. So I think we actually have to go back and meet with the building official again and just confirm that, okay, this is the last piece of it, because I think what happened is we may have created confusion by not putting a cover letter in the bifurcated permit saying this is just for this area. And I think that's what's created the replication of comments that shouldn't be relevant to this permit. So we are asking for 30 more days because I think, I could ask for longer, but I think it keeps everyone on their toes to just do the 30 days for your next hearing. And I am hopeful, based off of the building official being present at that final meeting, and I know he wants to work with us, that that'll be the end of it.
Okay.
We have no objection to 30 days.
Okay. So then I will continue the compliance date to January 8th with a compliance hearing of January 9th.
Okay. Thank you, Madam.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. The next case is 2470 CESM. Cynthia Greco and John Scaglione. Hi there. If you'll please raise your right hand, whoever's going to testify. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Building Department Inspector. This is case number 2470 CESM for the address located at 710 Wind Drive, located in Seminole County. Violation charge, Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, 105.1. This is for the enclosure of a carport without the required permits. The initial violation was January 16th. The initial inspection was January 16th of '24. Notice to the respondent was January 17th, 2024. There have been several extensions, follow-up inspections, and computer inspections, and the violation still remains on the property. This slide shows that they are the owners of record of the property. Next slide shows the enclosure. And then we have an aerial on the next slide that shows that it used to be just a carport and now it's enclosed. They did apply for a permit back in April, but that has since, is still in plan check, and to my knowledge, it has lapsed its time to, and they would have to start again or reopen this permit. Next slide just shows the workflow, same as the following. What is it? Okay, looks like they submitted something today, the 9th. Okay. The next slide is,
What was submitted on the 9th?
was it a,
So pretty much, we
Wait,
were supposed to.
wait,
okay.
1 second. Let me hear from the county, and then when they're finished, I'll let you know.
okay, so they have corrections submitted as of the 9th.
Corrections, but I thought you said that the permit from April was
The,
no longer valid.
Go back to global.
Ruth Goldstein, Building Division, for the record. Permit number 24-6049, if I'm reading that correctly, that is the permit application that was initially submitted in April. That's what this slide shows. The following slide shows that it's currently in a PC or plan check status due to corrections that the county has submitted. Next slide. As of 12/9, the bottom of this slide where it says plan review corrections in micro font, that right there, I believe, is the most updated workflow receipt for the permit application process, indicating that the respondents may have corrections that their contractor needs to submit. So it's in the process as of 12/9.
Okay, so that original permit from April is in, okay, all right.
this is the code section that was cited, 105.1, Seminole County, Chapter 40, Appendix A. Recommendation, based on the testimony and evidence presented in this case, 2470 CESM, it is determined that the respondents are the owner of record of the property and in violation in possession and control of the property and in violation of the Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, 105.1. I further recommend special magistrate order the respondents correct the violation on or before February 12th, 2025. In order to correct the violation, the respondent shall obtain the required permit for the cited violation. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. The respondents must make contact with the inspector. I have presented a copy of this to the clerk, and that concludes my presentation.
Would you like to submit a copy of this or the electronic case file into the record?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any objection to the electronic case file that's been shown up there that you have in front of you being submitted into the record?
No.
Okay, I'll accept it into the record. Okay, you can go ahead.
So pretty much, we had purchased the home on December.
Can you state your name, please?
Cynthia Greco.
Okay.
Pretty much, we had purchased the home. We closed on December 30th of 2023. We proceeded to move in on January 8th of 2024, and within a couple days, we pretty much had to move out. So we get an inspector that comes to our home because we had issues and we had people at the house and pretty much saying that, was this a carport? Was this, transferred into something else? And we said, we don't know. We did our inspections, everything was fine. So we had some issues where we had to hire a real estate attorney. And the reason why it's taken us so long is because we finally got into a settlement agreement with the previous owner, who was the real estate agent, who pretty much came in and did all of the work to the house unpermitted and illegally. So we have not lived in the house for one day. We are still not in the house. And we are just trying to hurry up and get these permits approved with our general contractor. We signed the letter of commencement on August 29th, and we've just been waiting since then every day just to get this proceeding going. So pretty much, yeah, I do have a copy of the settlement agreement that was with the previous owner and realtor who sold us the home, that he is fully responsible and paying for everything as far as any of the violations, if we do accrue anything, and then also all of the construction.
Okay.
Megan Zanorski, Planning, for the record. I just want to let you know they actually have an approved site plan for me, so it's the building comment, so they don't need a variance. We're not holding them up on my end for once.
Okay.
So it's just their planning or their building comments. So
Okay.
it's just getting their plans revised to meet the plans examiner. So I just wanted to let you know we're not under an extended deadline as far as getting a variance or anything. So if that
Okay.
affected your decision in any way.
Okay, thank you. Now, is there any reason why this won't be able to go through the process before the February 12th hearing? Is there, any holdup? Because if so, then I want to make sure that they have the time that is necessary.
The permit process.
Just the permit process, that's all.
So you think 60 days is sufficient for that?
I would think so.
Okay. So do you have any concerns with having, again, I'm trying to be mindful of the holidays with they're working at someone else's mercy, it sounds like, because someone else is paying for this contractor, and if he doesn't submit everything that he needs to submit, that's
Yeah, I
not going
wouldn't
to
be opposed if you wanted to give them 90.
through March. Okay, I think that might be a little better. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and make your compliance date March 12th. Without prying too far into your settlement agreement, if you receive a fine of any sort, is that covered under it as well?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. Then I will make the compliance date March 12th with a penalty of $150 a day if for some reason they do not come into compliance. But obviously, you'll be back in front of me on March 13th, the very next day. And so if there are, delays, obviously you have no control over that. Then I certainly want to hear about that.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. (2471) CESM, Mary Beth and Tyler Carlson.
I'm just loud. It's like, clumsy.
Hi there. Okay. Anyone who's going to provide testimony, if you'll please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Inspector. This is case number 2471 CSM. Is for the property located at 161 Alder Avenue, which is owned by Mary Beth J. and Tyler D. Carlson. The violation charges Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, 105.1. Violation is installation of a patio pergola without the required permits. The initial inspection was done 9/12/23. Notice to the respondent was issued 9/12/23. There have been several compliance dates and extensions, and there have been on-site inspections and computer inspections, and the violation remains on the property. This is the screen from the property appraiser showing that they are the owner of record. The following are photographs of the patio pergola. And next slide, permit 241541 remains in plan check status. System closed due to inactivity on 9/3/24. This shows the workflow. Now closed due to inactivity. This is the code section, Chapter 40, that was cited. Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 2471 CSM, it is determined that the respondents are the owner of record of the property located at 161 Alder Avenue and in possession of control of the property. And in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, 105.1. I further recommend that Special Magistrate order the respondent correct the violation on or before January 12, 2025. In order to correct the violation, the respondent shall obtain the required permits for the cited violation. If the respondents do not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. The respondents must contact the inspector to verify compliance. I've presented a copy of this presentation to the clerk and request that it be entered into record. This concludes my presentation.
Do you have any objection to the documentation that was presented before me and is provided to you being entered into the record as evidence?
My name is Mary Beth Carlson,
Miss-
and in the beginning,
Wait, Ms. Carlson, do you have an objection to me admitting the record into as evidence?
I don't understand what you're saying.
So the county has presented what's in front of you, the documentation that you received, they've presented that as evidence for their case. And so I am they have asked that I accept it into evidence as part of their case, and I'm asking if you have an objection to that.
I guess, yes, I do.
You have an objection to
Yeah.
the evidence being
I
presented?
guess so, yeah. It's been there for over 30 years.
Okay, before we get into your case, I'm asking if you have an objection to the evidence that they've presented being given to me. If you do, that's fine.
I don't know. I don't understand.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to accept the evidence that the county has presented. Okay, you can go ahead.
Okay, first I was in violation. Vicky Hathaway said installation of 2 awnings and a wood fence. I removed the awnings and permitted the fence. Then she came back and decided to violate me for a pergola. So I had drawings put up and presented it. I've brought it down here, went back and forth, and I don't know what's happened since. They had come back and still said the pergola was there. So I guess they didn't accept the drawings for a permit.
Right, so that was back in, and they provided the evidence and testimony of that, of what was in their system, showing that you did in fact submit for a permit back in February of this year, but it was in plan check, so I don't know, were there comments that were provided of information that was needed from the property owner?
Yeah, there are corrections here. The workflow slip, I can't see what they are, but
And were those provided to her?
I believe she has access to them.
Okay, so tell me how that works. Does that mean that I have to go into the system myself and check it? Or
Yes.
does something get sent to me physically?
It's a little bit like playing a game of catch with the building division. Whoever the applicant is on the other side of this E-plan task, the game of catch is by task association, so we're going to throw the ball to you and you're going to catch it in the form of that task. When you're done completing it, you complete the task, you send the ball back to the county. So in this situation, the county, I can't really read it, but if there were corrections, the county would have submitted all of the corrections in writing, threw the ball back to the applicant to review it, and then the next step would be for the applicant to receive the ball, finish their play, and then send it back to the county.
So what happens when I, as a player in this game, don't have internet access or don't have the ability to access through this system?
Our permit technicians, Megan Zanorsky, planner, I work very closely with the few permit technicians that do owner-builder permits. We're very good at coordinating back and forth with our permit technicians, with our owner-builder permits who are not computer savvy, for exactly this reason. So what will happen is they will download the checklist, put it in an Adobe form so that they can email it to them so that they have a very readily, easily readable format for the owner builder to just see their comments. And then they usually call in and they go, we kind of play round robin through all the reviewers. So they'll usually start with like the plans examiner, then the plans examiner will send them through to me, and then I'll send them through to Jen, who's in drainage. And we'll just circulate them through whoever needs to talk to the person so that they can get through all the plans reviewers.
Can you tell whether that was done here?
If she called in, she would have spoken to whoever she needed to
No,
speak to.
I never
that
called.
initial-
I physically came down here each time and talked to somebody.
Okay, and so what was the last thing that you were told related to the pergola?
To what? Well, I took the roof off, but I talked to the girl upstairs. I don't remember.
So what I was missing was a height elevation to ensure that it meets setback requirements, because we have different setback requirements depending on how tall a structure is. and I needed to know the side front yard setbacks.
I did all that.
And the roof overhang exceeded 24 inches, which then triggers a setback requirement.
But was this communicated to her in the fashion that you were talking about with a PDF and an email?
If it would have been emailed to her, or if she was
Do
acting.
you have email?
I have an email, yes.
Okay. Does the county have her email on file? I need to know whether we actually sent it to her.
So if she was acting as her own owner-builder, she either physically gets it, or if they elect to have a permit technician act and email it to them, it triggers one or both ways. So
But can
either-
you tell what happened by your system?
So it's a paper permit, so the permit technician would have emailed the PDF format to her.
In the case of paper permits, the owner is required to appear in person at the county to submit any additional plan pages or revised documents.
Okay.
So
And then it
she's
gets
correct in
routed
that.
back through by e-plan to us for review, because we don't track paper anymore.
But you track it yourself. She's not required to go in and do
Correct.
anything. Okay. So the last thing that you were asked to do, did you come back to do the
I
last?
believe so. I
Okay,
believe
well,
I
they're
submitted.
not showing any record that you have done what you need to do. So what they're asking is that you've got to, now will she have to resubmit, or would this permit be
She would have to.
Is there a chance that any of this can be grandfathered in? I mean, this has been here. Here's a picture. He was 3 years old. He'll be 33 in February.
it still is required to have a permit, whether it didn't have one, I mean, at the time, just because it went missed for 30 years doesn't make it acceptable. There has to be a permit. And from my perspective, you've acknowledged that by submitting for the permit, but just
I've tried.
letting it go.
I don't know what else to do.
Well, I think that it's going to warrant you coming down here, especially because they have marked you as having a paper permit. It's going to warrant you coming down here and talking to someone and finding out exactly what they need from you.
Okay, well, I've done that. I just,
Well,
Come
apparently
down
with the
again.
with the last go-around of comments, they didn't get addressed because nothing was turned back into the county. So with an owner-builder type situation like this, because she isn't, I'm assuming, does she need to get a contractor for something like this, or?
I did hire one. I paid him $1,000, and he basically did nothing. He just scrap wrote up something. You know, a third grader could have done it. It was.
And was
so
that turned in to us?
I showed
To the
it
county?
to people. Yes, I showed it to them.
Okay.
There was obviously some kind of documentation that was turned in
And-
for her to be able to submit the application, so.
Okay.
I just don't understand. My husband passed away. He's the one who built this. So here we are left. I don't know what to do.
Well, I think probably the best thing is going to be for you to come down to the county to talk to someone, to find out what exactly is necessary. I think it sounds like there's going to be a new permit that's required to be applied for.
Possibly a new application.
Okay, possibly. A new application for what you have to do. So with that, if she does have to submit a new application, is 2 months sufficient?
I'm not opposed to giving more time if you,
Well, I don't, if you think it's sufficient, then I'm not, but you have to really comply with what they're telling you to do, and if you're.
How am I going to comply? We're the ones who have to do it. No contractor wants to come up and clean up someone else's mess.
Well, they're telling me that does she not need a contractor for this? Is this something she could do
She
herself?
can do an owner-builder.
Okay.
She owns and occupies the property, she can do an owner-builder permit.
So you'd be able to do it yourself without a contractor? You just need to follow the steps that the county is asking you to follow?
To get a permit.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine, if they help me and tell me what I need to do.
I would suggest that you stop over here before you leave and get a printout of the corrections that you need to do before you leave, so you know what
Exactly.
you have to do.
Is there someone in particular that she should go to? Oh, okay, they're going to give you the information that you need as your reference to your permit file, okay? All right. Then I believe that since you're doing it without a contractor, or you could do it without a contractor, that you certainly could get this completed by February 12th. And so that's the compliance date that I'm going to give you, February 12th. And if you fail to come into compliance by February 12th, you'll have a fine in the amount of $100 a day imposed for each day that the violation remains. But I think if you do everything you're supposed to do, and you provide the information that the county is asking you to provide, you shouldn't have a problem. Okay?
Hey, I've tried, I've submitted drawings.
And I think that that's all you'll need to do here as well. But you just need to, if they give you comments and they tell you they need something else, so you need to comply with that. Okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
$2043 CESM, Ninive Castillo. Sorry. Absolutely. Hi. I'm well, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Can you please, anyone who's going to provide testimony, if you'll raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Inspector. This is case number 2043 CESM, located at 209 Collins Drive, Sanford. This case was originally heard by Special Magistrate on June 11th, 2020, and an order was issued giving the respondent's compliant date of August 12th, 2021. There was an affidavit of noncompliance September 24th, 21. November 4th, 2021, an order was issued extending the compliance date to February 10th of 22. On April 14th, 2024, an order extending the compliance date to July 14th, 2022. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by the inspector after reinspection on July 20th, 2022. On April 13th, 2023, an order was issued extending the compliance date to July of 2023. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by the inspector after reinspection on July 20th, 2023. On November 14th, 2024, an order was issued extending compliance date to December 11th, 2024, with a meeting scheduled for December 12th, 2024. The administrative costs in this case for the clerk are $674.90. The administrative cost for the inspector are $768.58, for a total of $1,443.48. Recommended that special magistrate issue an order constituting a lien in the lien retroactively back to August 12, 2021, and continues to accrue until compliance. That concludes my presentation.
Okay, would there are no new photos or anything that you provided? This is your
No.
prior?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'll accept the electronic case file that has been provided prior into the record. The file has been provided to you all as well?
Yes.
Okay. You can go ahead.
Okay, dígale usted. I made everything. Dígale.
So, yeah, because I have to translate just a little bit. There's a language barrier. Spanish
Okay.
is our first language, so it takes us a minute to comprehend everything.
Okay. And then let me also swear you in as an interpreter for her as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will translate from English to Spanish and from Spanish to English to the best of your ability?
I do.
Thank you.
Because she understands you. It's just.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
What she's trying to say is she purchased this house back in 2006, and when the house was purchased, the real estate agent knew that the guest house was there and let my mom know, and it was fine. They said you don't have to worry about permits or anything. That was the case. My mom included a stove, which apparently was a violation because it turned it into a guest house, which then they told her to remove the stove, and that's exactly what she did. Because if you go in there now, it's just empty. There's a bathroom, and there's like a little space, but we just like put guests in there, and we put like a little inflatable bed, but there's nothing else that kind of accommodates that. It could just be used as a storage space. And now that we have a new baby in the house, because my sister just gave birth like 4 days ago, we just need to have people kind of out of the house because it's a lot for a woman breastfeeding for the first time and all these experiences. I don't have experience, but I can only imagine. She's applied for the permits in regards to keeping it. Like she said,
Sí, apply for legalize the house.
and she applied to legalize the back house. And I guess
I pay for un arquitecto to make everything because
she paid for the architect to double check all of the issues and
the back and
accommodations.
forth for remove.
And
Has
she's-
anything been applied?
Yes.
With the county?
Yes.
Yes,
My mom goes personally every single time. If it's
Okay.
not with me, it's with my brother.
she know me.
Okay, so there is evidence of application?
Yes, the one that's circled in green there, that is the application that was originally submitted in 2020. There were multiple rounds of corrections, and the building code has changed twice since the initial application, which has resulted in additional required corrections. Since she is no longer, has it as I may not be saying an ADU with the stovetop, it still needs to be permitted, period. So she just needs to indicate on the plans where it is right now and what the purpose of it is.
Okay. So I have those comments. When was the last time that we went back and forth with those types of comments?
Remove, I bring the paper, the new plan with the architect to remove the stove because he removed but don't remove. He don't change 2023 for the new chain. I don't know.
But have you remained in contact at all times? Because we heard this
Yes.
last, I believe in November, we heard it.
Yes.
And then we also, and
I came here.
October, possibly, and then we're back here in December, and it's still not done. So what are the comments as far as the responses?
Megan has internet access.
Sorry, it's a paper permit, so it's just taking me a little bit longer to navigate the system. So it was routed in the tail end of November, the next to last week of November, and just bear with me here because internet's a little slow in the chambers. I am pulling up the report right now. But I have corrections, but it looks like all of the divisions have corrections. So it's not just myself, but also building and drainage. The next to last week in November, so just 3 weeks ago. So I have the approved variance, it says. I have, looks like I couldn't read the site plan. It's extremely blurry. It's still showing, the electrical plan still shows the cooktop. So it's still being permitted as like an ADU. So if you want the ADU, we can go through the ADU process. If you want the cooktop,
My mom has removed the stovetop.
okay,
months
but the
ago.
plans are still showing it.
That's what she was claiming earlier, like a couple minutes ago, that the guy came and he didn't cross it out manually in the papers because it hasn't been there for a while.
But I don't think you can just cross it off. It has to be, the plans have to be redone. If they're sealed plans, the building division won't take them unless they're completely redesigned
Or just updated?
or updated, re-stamped or resealed.
Oh, no. Okay, he need put one note.
So he can mark them and then reseal them,
Yes,
but they're
he-
going to have to be resealed with that change on them.
Oh, no. Okay.
So if you want, I'll give you my card, and we can, maybe all of the plans reviewers get together, have a meeting with you so we can get you through this process, because I think you're close.
I think it's just a miscommunication.
I do. So let me give you my card, and we can set up a meeting and get you through it, okay?
Okay.
So Megan, how long do you think that that will take?
I don't know what the other comments are from the other reviewers, because they're individual comment sheets. 60 days by the time they get the plans back from their reviewers, because I don't know if he's going to have to reprint them and seal them because it's paper, so.
Okay.
And especially with the holidays. But I think 60 days, they should be able to get them.
Okay.
If that's all they're doing is, it's like electrical plans and a few minor, their variances and stuff are done, so they should
Okay.
be, it should be minor.
Okay, so it's really literally just the building part?
Yeah, we're down to the final,
Okay.
the final.
Do you know what the issues are directly? Like, exactly?
Drainage, there's zoning, there's.
Yeah, there's multiple, it's building, drainage, and zoning. So let me give you my card, send me an email, and I'll get you all of the plans comments, and we'll set a staff meeting. That way we can get everybody together and get you everything that you need. Okay?
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll continue your compliance date to February 13th, or February 12th, I'm sorry. And your compliance hearing would then be on February 13th. Okay? So I'm a little bothered for you by your architect thinking that he could just cross through something on his signed and sealed plans. So you need to really emphasize to him the importance of that this is his license as well, and he is submitting these plans for you. So I think you really need to put some emphasis on that with your architect, the importance of this.
Okay, I tell him.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Do we just leave this here?
I keep.
Thank you.
Almost done.
2315 CESM, Ronald Guzman and Sierra Puster? If you'll go ahead and raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Inspector. This is case number 2315 CESM, located at 3969 Centerville Way, Sanford. This case was originally heard by Special Magistrate February 9th, 2023, and an order was issued given the respondent's compliance date of April 14th. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by the inspector on October 4th, 2024. Then on November 14th, 2024, an order was issued given the respondent's compliance date of December 11th, 2024, with a meeting scheduled for today. Affidavit of compliance was filed by the inspector after reinspection on December 11th, 2024. Administrative costs in this case for the clerk were $222.35. The administrative costs for the inspector were $781.97 for a total of $1,004.32. And that concludes my presentation because they're in compliance.
Okay. Hi. Okay, so you are in compliance, so there's not going to be a actual fine that's attached related to the compliance, but there are administrative fees and costs that were incurred by the county in continuing to try to get the case in compliance. So those fees are in the amount of $222.35 related to the clerk fees and $781.97 related to the inspector fees, for a total of $1,004.32. How long will it take you to pay that?
At least a month.
Oh, okay, well, I mean, we're in the middle of the Christmas season,
Yeah.
so I'm going to give you 90 days to pay it. But if you don't pay it in the 90-day period, then it gets recorded and it is a lien against your property. But, so I'll go ahead and give you 90 days to pay that.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
How do we pay that?
The order, when you receive it, it will give you instructions,
It'll
but.
be like in the mail?
Yeah,
Okay.
because if you wait, you can't go up there and try to pay it now or anything like that because of they have to get it in their system, so.
Fine.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Get ready to back. Go on, Lydia, coach the 2317 CESM, Asset Management Services of America. Hi there, sir. You raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Inspector. This is case number 2317 CESM, located at 2323 Tuscarora Road. This case was originally heard by the Special Magistrate on February 9th, 2023, and an order was issued giving the respondents a compliance date of April 14th, 2023. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed after reinspection on April 19th, 2023. The administrative cost for the clerk in this case is $67.69. The administrative cost for the inspector was $889.09 for a total of $956.78. Recommendation is the special magistrate issue an order constituting a lien retroactive back to April 14th, 2023, and continues to accrue until in compliance. That concludes my presentation.
Okay. Okay.
Your Magistrate, I was here last year in reference to this violation, and at that time I explained I was working with the building department to get the permits approved. My understanding, based on the conversation that I had with Ms. Liz Parkhurst and the Chief Fire Inspector Diaz, they told me that in order to be compliant for the gate, I had to include in the site plans where the gate was located, and also I had to get a Knox locked on the gate. Those were the two requirements. I followed those directions. I got a confirmation from one of the inspectors in the fire department that that was done, and my understanding was that this violation was going to go away once the permit was approved. I did not know that this was an outstanding issue. I have been in contact with the building department. Multiple emails have been sent. Ms. Ruth Goldstein, I reached out to Liz Parker. Mr. Jason was at the property a couple of days ago, and I also got an email, a response back from Ms. Diaz, Chief Inspector Diaz, saying that she was reviewing this situation. I believe this is some kind of miscommunication, hopefully that it can get resolved. I followed every single direction that I was told to do, and hopefully I don't get penalized for something that it wasn't my intention not to follow.
To my knowledge, yeah, he has been in contact with everybody here, and Ms. Diaz has not responded correctly as of today.
The last I heard, Ms. Diaz was speaking with Fire Inspector Brenda Paz regarding the width of the gate, which appears to not meet fire code. The gate is required to have a permit per building code, per fire regulation, and there is a width requirement for the gate. And upon
the fire
reinspection,
trucks can get back there.
We have not yet received a written response from Ms. Diaz, as this was in topic of conversation as of this morning around 11 a.m. But the last we heard was that the gate requires a permit and the width is insufficient for the current code, but has not been obtained yet in writing.
Okay, but we knew that the gate needed a permit because that's why we're here to begin with, right?
Correct,
Okay.
which was referenced on a previous permit site plan, but was later confirmed that that doesn't mean that it's permitted, just because it was on the site plan. A gate requires a separate permit. And even if it was on the site plan, it doesn't meet code as the current width.
But the reason that we're here with the original that was heard was permits for the gate.
Correct.
Anyway.
Which have
so
still not been obtained, correct?
Okay,
Right.
okay. Yes, sir.
Dear Magistrate, so I was never advised that I needed to have a separate permit. The reason why I was told that to get the gate in compliance, I was told to include it in the site plans, and when Inspector Diaz asked me about what's the width of the gate, I said it was 12 feet wide, and she said, "Oh, you're lucky." Because this is an existing gate, it's a chain link gate that you open manually. And she said, because it's an existing gate, you don't need to have, it can be grandfather and it doesn't have to follow I guess it's a 16 feet width requirement now. Those were her words. And if that's not the case, I was not advised to do otherwise.
Okay, then maybe there was a miscommunication because the order specifically says that the following violations are found on the subject property: interior renovations and installation of gates, both without obtaining the necessary required permits.
Yeah, and just about that, so those, I didn't install the gate, that was there before, and when I applied for the permit back in July 5th, 2022, the same day Inspector Kyle, he went to the property and took pictures on the outside, and then he called me. He said, can I come by your house? I said, yes. I opened the door to the house, and he started taking pictures. I never put a single nail on the wall before I got my permit. So he said, well, even though you didn't do this, because you bought the house with these violations, you own them. I said, that's fine, and that's why I'm going through the process of getting a permit so I can do the entire renovations. And for the gate, if they had told me that I had to do something else, a separate permit and all that, I would have done it. I got the architect to redraw the plans to delineate where the gate was located, as I was told, and I also bought the Knox lock for the gate. So those were the two directions that I was told to do, and I followed them. I wasn't aware that now that I guess there is a different requirement, but I wasn't told at that time.
Yeah, I don't think it's a different requirement, because the order is pretty clear. It talks about permits for both the gate and the the interior renovations. So, and my only concern is the period of time that has lapsed between the inspection and the compliance hearing.
I understand that this has been going on for a while, but again, I've been in contact with the building department multiple times. I've been here. I was never told to get a separate permit. I don't know what order, if you're looking at, I don't have that information with me.
Was this order served on him? Was this order served on him?
Notice of hearing was posted on the property.
For today?
Yes.
Yes, but this order. Liz signed for it, so I'm assuming that it was, in fact, I just don't know the date. Of 2023, though. And then, okay, so this order would have been posted on your property in January, or in February of 2023.
Okay, but when I came and I spoke to Ms., who signed that order?
Well, it was signed by the prior magistrate and then Liz Parkhurst.
Okay, I spoken, can I request to have Ms. Liz Parker be present on this hearing?
It wasn't. Okay. I was given information just now by Alexis Brignoni, the code clerk, that the order was not sent out to you. So how much time at this point do we think it's going to take for him to go through the process and get whatever it's in holding with the county at this point, because you all are waiting on comments, correct? Mm-hmm. So if the comments come back that the gate's not wide enough, what is your intent if you are told that the gate's not wide enough?
Well, first for me, and maybe it doesn't matter if there was a change on the information that I received, but I would like to speak to Chief Diaz, that she said because that was an existing gate along with the fences, that because it was there for 30 years, the 12 feet width of the gate was sufficient. It's just a chain. Eventually, I will have something better than that.
Okay.
But right now, I don't understand why I'm being penalized with all these fines when I...
Well, you're not being penalized with fines yet. What's happening is we're trying to make sure that we go through the process, but it sounds to me like there are comments that the county is waiting on, potentially.
So, Megan Zanorski for planning. If this fence has not been permitted previously, and the gate has not been permitted previously, it's not going to meet setback requirements. It's 6 foot tall. He's going to need a variance it's not going to meet setback requirements.
But if he's planning on making changes to the
I
gate,
thought it was, oh, it's A1? No, it's still not, because it exceeds the height requirement. So it exceeds the, and it also, it's not the right material, so he would need to apply for a variance, and so we're looking at least 60 to 90 days for a variance if he wants to apply for a variance. And then he has the width issue, if that's going to be an issue with fire. And then he's also going to have a traffic engineering review for a setback from the road, because this also would have to go to traffic engineering for review for a gate.
so if he were to decide that he wanted to put a different material gate in, to not have to have a variance and to meet setbacks, he certainly could pull a permit to do that.
He could, it still would need to go to traffic engineering to ensure that it met compliance for
Sure.
traffic queuing. But if it met the material and the height, then, and the width for fire, then yes, if it complied with traffic engineering requirements, and it could be issued within, if the site plan was complete, I would have it issued probably within 72 hours to a week.
So now my question is, does he need a demolition permit to remove the gate that he didn't have a permit for?
No, he could do it all in one. He could do remove and replace.
Okay. So it sounds to me like if you are planning on changing this gate out,
No, Your Majesty.
oh, you aren't? Okay. Well, then the process that you will have to go through is rather lengthy, and it's contingent on approval. So you have to go before a board of adjustment that makes those types of decisions, and your request could be denied, of course. There are fees associated with that. I can certainly give you sufficient time to be able to go through that process. Through this process, I can give you a continuance of your compliance date that would enable you to go through that process, but you have to go through it.
Okay.
He can remove it as well. If he removes it, then
Or you could just remove it. And
Yeah, but then the house would be vulnerable to, for burglaries and all that. And this gate, they said, when I submitted before the plans got approved, it was requested for the architect to let the county know what was the setback. So that was established when the permit was approved.
no, I think that the permit for the site plan that you gave, that was for other alterations.
that's for interior alteration.
Yeah, that was related to the
But it was
interior.
specifically that requirement for the, it came from the building department for the gate, for that existing gate.
That the gate needed to appear on the site plan as well?
Yes.
Why would the gate have needed to appear on the site plan if the permit wasn't related to the gate as well?
Wouldn't have to be.
Okay. Okay, so unless your architect at the time was trying to do both?
No, that was the, what the county told me. For me to get in compliance with that gate, I had to resubmit the site plans with the location of the gate. That's what I was told.
Okay, so I'm sorry if you were told that. I really don't, the only thing I can tell you is that that wouldn't have been appropriate, even for if someone from the county told you that, that wasn't the appropriate course. There were 2 permits required. The order does reflect that there were 2 permits required. If the order had reflected something different, then I might be of a different mindset, but because the order reflects both, then I need to make sure that, that you're complying with both. And it sounds like the interior was complied with, the fence permit was not, or gate permit was not complied with. What the county is telling me is that the process is longer for that related to this issue because of your zoning. And so a variance would be required for it to remain in its current state, or you could remove it altogether. If you're telling me that you want to keep it, then I can work with you, mainly because I realized that the copy of the order was not sent to you. That's really the only reason I'm being lenient. But if you want to just remove it, then that can happen a lot faster. Or if you want to change the material to be in compliance, that can happen a lot faster. So really, the choice is yours.
Okay. Now, what is the process to know what the material that I have to use or what I need to do to put a new
To get the
gate?
variance or whatever. All of the different options, you would need to just,
Speak to us, call us, speak to us, and we'll let you know. We'll get you in touch with somebody. The other thing that I wanted to bring up is that he could remove the fence for now to get into compliance, and then pull a permit for whatever material he was going to put up.
but
To
he's
make it
saying
legal
that,
at a,
he's saying that he's not sure whether he wants to keep this fence in place with a variance, or if he wants to go the route of getting the
I
new
just-
fence that complies. So
yes, ma'am. I'm
that's
just giving him an easier solution.
Sure, but if he has to remove it and then he gets the variance and has to put it back in, that's probably more costly to him.
And I don't want to leave the property unprotected, if you can understand that.
Okay, so really my only, the reason I am being even a little bit lenient, and probably would be less lenient if this was my order, but it was done a long time ago, I understand that, and the fact that you did not receive a copy of the order that was sent, that gives me some concern. And so I think it will take, did you say 90 days, Megan, to go through a variance
For a
process?
variance, so the site plan shows the existing fence. It does not show a gate that I can see. I'd be able to see it better on the,
This is the driveway. So it would be all the way out here.
I do have the plans if you'd like
it
to.
says
see.
12-foot gate on it. But the stamp is not for that. The stamp says specifically, convert to SFR, only one cooking facility allowed, no 220-volt permitted in kitchenette and wet bar areas. And the permit is specifically for an alteration for the single-family residence. So zoning review was not for compliance of a fence or a gate.
Okay, so I think we've established that. So do you live on the property, sir?
No.
But it's a residential property?
Yes.
It's vacant and it's, it's gutted,
Okay.
pretty much.
Okay. Then I think you can make your decision within 30 days on what you're going to do to bring the property in compliance. And if for some reason you decide that you want a variance and you're going to go through that process, the county will certainly come back here and let me know that that's the process that you've chosen to go through. But at that point, there's going to need to be some evidence for me that you're actually going through that process. There's going to need to be an application and some of those sorts of things.
Your Magistrate, can I please ask 90 days?
No, I'm not, because if you were living on the property, and I just have a little bit of a concern with it being a non-homesteaded, owned by a corporation, and you are claiming that you did not, I know you received the order because it was posted on the property, although it wasn't sent. I know it was received. And so I'm I'm having a little bit of a problem with that because I feel like some of what you've been telling me, you've been flipping back and forth based on what you hear me say and what you hear the county say, and that's bothering me a little bit. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to order you to come into compliance by January 8th. So I will give you a continuation of your compliance date through January 8th with a compliance hearing date of January 9th. And so in that time, if you choose that you want to tear down the fence to be in compliance, you'll be in compliance, and then you can do whatever you would like to do with respect to a new fence, or you can make the decision by filing an application related to the variance to keep the fence where it is in its current location. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case, 2425 CESM. Ahmed and Sakina Nuromahed. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Building Department Inspector. This is case number 2425 CESM, located at 846 Isle Point, Sanford. This case was originally heard by Special Magistrate on April 11th, 2024, and an order was issued given the respondent's compliance date of July 10th, 2024, with a meeting scheduled for July 11th, 2024. Affidavit of noncompliance was filed by the inspector after reinspection on July 10th, 2024. On July 11th, 2024, an order was issued extending the compliance date to September 11th, 2024, with a meeting scheduled for September 12th, 2024. On September 12th, 2024, Special Magistrate issued an order giving a response to compliance date of October 9th, 2024. October 10th meeting was canceled due to weather conditions. And was continued to today's date. The administrative costs for the clerk are $232.10. The administrative cost for the inspector was $447.22, for a total of $679.32. I recommend that Special Magistrate issue an order constituting a lien retroactive back to July 10th, 2024, and continues to accrue until in compliance. That concludes my presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. For the record, McGregor Love, 215 North Yola Drive. I can refresh your memory on this matter briefly. This is the case where my client installed a retaining wall just prior to one of the hurricanes, not this year, but I believe in 2023, and then sought to permit it after the fact, and then discovered through the, well, actually, I don't want to misrepresent. I believe he was cited for a code violation prior to seeking permit approval. But he did seek to permit it. He hired an engineer to build it. And now there's been a disconnect or sort of a miscommunication between the HOA that this property is a part of and the county, and I believe we have it resolved on the county side as far as what the path forward is. The HOA remains another matter that we will have to deal with after we've dealt with the county's process. But the first thing I did after our last meeting is talk to Sarah in the Environmental Services Department at the county, because this easement is labeled as a conservation and drainage easement, but it's a man-made lake. Really, it functions as a drainage easement. So when we were able to work through that, the process that we were given is, okay, well, if you can provide us with an engineered drainage analysis showing that, the drainage will not, constitute an unreasonable interference with the surrounding properties, then we can kind of move through the process that way. Whether that results in a sort of conditional approval that requires a subsequent, approval by the HOA is a topic that we'll have to discuss with the county, but that's the path that we've gone down. My client had an engineer, as I mentioned, who drew these plans together, who ultimately wasn't able to, didn't have the expertise to do the sort of drainage analysis the county's looking for. But he has hired another engineer, and they have, right now, we were hoping to have this in hand today, but they had to do a new topographic analysis of the existing condition of the property. And once that's completed, which is, again, supposed to be completed this week, our understanding is that the engineer should be able to produce that analysis relatively quickly. And that will be what allows us to actually move through the county's process. So that's a summary of where we are today. And I know it's been a process. This is not a new case at this point. But I think that if we had another 2 months to sort through this, that we could come back to you hopefully with this resolved.
Okay. Does the county have any objection to 2 months? Are they working through the process as stated?
I don't have an issue with that.
Okay. All right. Then I'll go ahead and continue the compliance date to February 12th, 2025 with a compliance hearing of February 13th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. (2437) CESM, Jason Turner. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Thank you.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Inspector. This is case number 2437 CESM, located at 5725 North Road. This case was originally heard by Special Magistrate on July 11th, 2024, and an order was issued giving the respondents a compliance date of October 9th, 2024, with a meeting scheduled October 10th. Due to weather on October 10th, it was rescheduled to today's date, December 12th, 2024. The administrative costs to process this case for the clerk was $154.86. The administrative cost for the inspector was $781.97 for a total of $880.47. Recommend Special Magistrate issue an order constituting an lien retroactive back to October 9th, 2024, and continues to accrue until the compliant, it is in compliance. I did get a text message yesterday from Jason Turner that said he was not going to be here today, wouldn't be able to, and was wanting to be here to be able to ask for an extension. But I believe this is his designer that he has obtained that is going to speak. So that concludes my presentation.
Okay.
Trevor Knowles, I'm the apprentice architect, Representative Jason. As of right now, we've submitted the plans this morning, sealed. We're just waiting on a current survey to do a site plan. We have located it based off his current privacy wall, so it's within all the requirements. It's just a matter of just getting to the site plan at this point and getting the approval of the plans.
Okay, and I see that they didn't come in October because of the hearing continuance. And what about November? Why?
I think that was the hurricane.
November was the hurricane or October?
No, it was in October, and this case was extended to December 12th. to today.
Oh,
'Cause we
you
had
all
so many-
extended it because
yes.
you had so many?
Yes, we had so
Okay.
many.
All right. Well, since you have not taken any, you haven't had any continuances, and it doesn't appear like they've not worked with you all, and they've gotten everything turned in the way that they needed to get it turned in, you're just asking for 30 days? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and continue the compliance date to January 8th, 2025, with a compliance hearing of January 9th, 2025. And that is all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
2441 CESM J5 Properties, 8650 LLC.
Oh, J5. We're in compliance.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Can I have you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Inspector. This is case number 2441 CESM, located at 1980 Howell Branch Road, Winter Park. This case was originally heard by Special Magistrate on July 11th, 2024, and an order was given to the respondent to a compliance date of October 9th, 2024, with a meeting on October 10th. Due to the weather situation on October 10th, this case was extended to December 12th, 2024, which is today. An affidavit of compliance was filed by the inspector on December 11th, 2024. Administrative cost for the clerk was $164.61. The administrative cost for the inspector was $768.58, totaling the amount of $933.19. Since they're in compliance, that concludes my presentation.
Okay. Do you have anything that you want to add? Okay, so, I have fees and costs in bringing this case of a total of $933.19. $164.61 from the clerk and $768.58 from the inspector. How long would it take you to bring the property, to pay those fees?
I'm sure they could pay immediately, but probably 30 days would be a
Okay.
window for them.
Okay. Then I will go ahead and order that fees in the amount of $933.19 due in 30 days, and if not paid, they will be a lien on the property. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gary? Brett? Oh. Okay, cool, thank you. I was like, I don't think that's Gary. Thanks. Man, they said the contractor? That's cheap. Looks like something at the cafe. Ice cream place. She works for his ice cream.
2446 CESM Lake Forest Owner LLC, Capital Corporate Services.
Hello, Amelia Cowan.
Okay, can I get you to raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Building Department Inspector. This is case number 2446 CESM, located at 5433 West SR 46 in Sanford. This case was originally heard by Special Magistrate on August 8, 2024, and an order was issued giving the response compliance date of October 9, 2024, with a meeting scheduled for October 10, 2024. The October 10th meeting was canceled due to weather and was continued to today, December 12, 2024. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by the inspector after reinspection on October 2nd, 2024. An affidavit of compliance was filed by the inspector after reinspection on October 14th, 2024. The administrative cost in this case for the clerk is $199.65. The administrative cost for the inspector in this case was $848.92, with a total administrative cost of $1,048.57. Since they are in compliance, that concludes my presentation.
But there were 6 days of noncompliance in accordance with my order?
Let's see here, October 2nd to the 14th.
Okay, is there a reason for the?
So I have a letter from the corporate office that says that the office that approves the permits was closed from October 8th through the 11th due to the Hurricane Milton, and then closed for the 12th through the 13th due to the weekend. All required documentation for the permit approval was submitted to the inspector's office on September 20th. The permit was not issued until the 14th, the first day back to the office was open. If the unforeseen weather circumstances had not occurred and the fact that the documentation was submitted in a timely manner, the permit would have been issued prior to the deadline. Given the circumstances, we kindly ask the board to take this uncontrollable delay into consideration and refrain from imposing any fines or liens for the brief period of non-compliance.
Okay. I'll go ahead and accept the reasoning for the 6-day delay and not impose any fines. However, there are costs in the amount of $199.65 and from the clerk and $848.92 from the inspector for a total of $1,048.57. How long will it take to pay those fees?
I just have to submit it to corporate for approval, so we can get it paid in 30 days.
Okay. Since you're not issuing it yourself and you are going through corporate, I will give you 60 days
Thank you.
to get that taken care of. And so the payment would be due in 60 days or it will be recorded as a lien against the property. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
$24.53 CESM BAF Assets 3 LLC. Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Inspector. This is case number 2453 CESM, located at 3314 Curtis Drive in Apopka. This case was originally heard by Special Magistrate on September 12, 2024, and an order was given to the respondent, a compliance date of November 13, 2024, with a meeting scheduled for November 14, 2024. On November 14th, an order was issued giving the respondents a compliance date of December 11th, with a meeting scheduled for today, December 12th, 2024. The administrative costs in this case for the clerk total $199.81. The administrative costs for the inspector total $682.66, for a total for the administrative costs being $882.47. Recommend Special Magistrate issue an order constituting a lien retroactive back to November 13th, 2024, and continuing to accrue until in compliance. That completes my presentation.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you, Your Honor. As of this morning, I think we've resubmitted some paperwork again that we were told that the paperwork portion was correct. On our last visit, we had been told multiple pieces of paperwork had to be refiled. And with that, we were then told on our last visit, and I went next door and spoke with Anthony, that the only thing left was a survey with the setbacks needed to be submitted. Could not hand it into him because our vendor of record had to submit it via e-file. That was done on the 2nd of this month. He had gotten back or saw confirmation stating that the e-file was accepted, or the permits were accepted, or plans were accepted, I believe it read. And then my assistant manager called back again yesterday, found out that another piece of paperwork had been administratively oopsed somewhere, that a person on the Sunbiz site, but not the owner of record, had misfiled this. That was resubmitted this morning.
Okay, and so do you all have that in your records?
Megan can give us a real-time update. The update on the screen is from the 4th of December, showing that there was an issue with the license holder on one of the forms.
Okay.
Here's Megan.
Yeah, so it's still sitting with additional documents required, so it's with the applicant for them to resubmit the documents for their licensing is what it's pending.
But is there anything showing that they actually have consistently given you all the information? I guess I'm...
So I'm seeing the 12th. Sorry, just a little slow. The 8th, the 7th, the 5th, the 3rd, the 20th. I mean, it's been pretty consistent.
And why did this not come in November?
The 11th, the 23rd. I mean, it's been like every couple of weeks that they've been, so by the time it's been going through review and then getting back to them, I mean, it's fairly consistent.
Is there a reason why this didn't come before us in the November hearing?
Well, here it says in November an order was issued, so it must have. Given the respondents a compliance date, giving them a new compliance date of yesterday.
There was an amended order in November? Okay.
Which at that point I was told we needed to resubmit the layout of the property because it misuploaded, which I actually have a couple screenshots that depending on what computer you're at, it will not upload appropriately. And the timestamp this morning when what we were told yesterday, according to that, was resubmitted this morning as well. So every time that we're asked, we have been very diligent to our best, other than every other hour on this. Plus, getting killed with the holiday within this past month seems to have kind of put us all a day or two behind, it seems. But again, let me know what we need to do. I want to get this in compliance.
And the only reason I'm questioning this is a fence. It's just a fence. It's not like, doesn't need a variance, doesn't need setback problems, it's just a fence.
Can you tell how many cycles there are?
So can I ask, if I elect to be e-plan portal, go that route rather than paper, I cannot submit anything in paper then? I can only submit through the e-portal?
Correct.
So it's one or the other? And so then if individuals, if everything has been submitted originally by the architect through the e-portal, and then the individual comes in to try to assist with the process, they can't even do that because it was done through the e-portal, so then it has to be submitted. And what happens if there's a problem with one of their professionals?
Are you not seeing the resubmit at 9:13 this morning?
I think it's just because the internet's a bit slow. The workflow report that I generated this morning at 9:18 shows the same 12-4 comment, so any subsequent comments were after 9:18 a.m.
Okay.
Megan might have the current workflow ready to go.
Part of the problem is when it comes back in, if it's stalled with anything with their licensing, it doesn't come to me. It stops at building. So, and I don't always necessarily see the comments back and forth between intake before it gets to me. Sometimes I have issues seeing, because I'm not in the building division, so I sometimes have issues seeing what building department folks can see. But I, at one point, stamped their site plan on December 2nd.
Okay, so they
So
would.
you have an approved site plan. So I think you're literally stuck at your contractor licensing.
And what is that specifically? 'Cause
So until your contractor licensing is up to date
with what?
with Seminole County, meaning that your license and your insurance and your workers' comp, all of that is whatever you need to have with Seminole County here.
For the contractor.
For the contractor licensing is up to date in our system. They cannot issue your permit.
Okay, does
So I
not
think
you-
that's where you're stuck. So
Yeah, that's
before
not you, that's your contractor.
So
has-
before you leave, I would go talk to the counter and find out, because I've stamped and approved your permit. You're with me, you're done.
Okay, the last thing I was told on the vendor's information required was that they had to be, the COI had to include Seminole County. I was told that that could be emailed to the BP service, which I personally emailed in.
Okay, so then they're waiting, they just haven't gotten to it yet to upload it into the system to process it. That takes them a little bit of time.
And I did that 2 days after our last visit together.
If the correction comment is for the item that's on the slide that says upload the permit authorization form for all applicants, the applicant in this case is Tyler Cabrisi. He's
That was-
listed as the contractor. This comment telling me that the permit authorization form references a different individual, not Tyler Cabrisi. That is listed as a repeat comment. It's possible if that changed from the application till now issuance, it just needs one form to be updated with the right name.
That was done this morning with Tyler. Evidently, his cousin that is listed on Sunbiz, Matthew, had filled out part of this form within the same office. So that was uploaded this morning.
Then that's what needs to be updated before they can issue your permit.
Okay?
So it's technicalities of who's doing what. It all has to tie together before they can issue your permit.
Can somebody review that to make sure that it's correct this time where it's been submitted multiple times?
I would go up as soon as this meeting is over and make sure.
Be happy to.
Okay.
Ask one of the permit technicians to confirm if the applicant's task has been completed. It's possible they could have accepted the task, acknowledging that there's a form that's needed, then they could have uploaded the form and then forgot to complete the task, which, like I was talking about in a different case, it's like throwing the ball back to the county. That could be the simple little technicality that's missing here. And if that's the case, the front counter technicians may be able to fix that for you and get it routed where it needs to go for issuance.
So a box
or payment, if
literally
that's
could
needed.
forget to be checked even though the document was properly uploaded.
Right, because essentially when you acknowledge the task, you've grabbed the ball, and then in order to send the ball back to the county, you have to click the box.
And it is with the applicant.
So there you go, that's what it is. He could have uploaded the document and then just didn't click the box. Our permit techs can confirm it is uploaded and correct, and then once the task is submitted back to the county, it'll be routed for issuance. And payment first, and then issuance.
Okay.
It went back to the applicant at 2:57 PM today.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue your compliance date to January 8th with a compliance hearing of January 9th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And would I be speaking with Tony or anyone on the first floor there?
Anthony or Alex?
Okay, thank you.
$2460 CESM, Annabelle Fernandez. Hi there.
Hi, Your Honor.
You raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Inspector. This is case number 2460 CESM, located at 1982 Longwood Lake Mary Road in Longwood. This case was originally heard by Special Magistrate on September 12, 2024, and an order was issued giving the respondents a compliance date of October 9, 2024, with a scheduled meeting for October 10, 2024. On October 10th, the meeting was canceled due to weather and was rescheduled for today's date, December 12, 2024. Administrative costs in this case for the clerk total $143.19. The administrative costs for the inspector total $527.56, giving a total administrative cost of $670.75. Recommend Special Magistrate issue an order, a lien retroactive back to October 9th, 2024, and continues to accrue until in compliance. That concludes my presentation.
Okay. You're in compliance now. There are fees that were incurred in the prosecution of the case by the county.
She's not in compliance.
Oh, she's not in
No, ma'am.
compliance. Oh, I'm sorry, I misread that. Goodness gracious. Okay.
So we bought the house with a fence that was falling apart. I replaced the fence. I didn't know. I know that's not an excuse, but I didn't know I needed a permit to put a new fence up. So we put it up, and then I guess it wasn't within the setbacks that it needed to be in. So I submitted an application for a variance. I just have to pay the application fee to proceed.
Okay, do we have evidence of there being a variance application, or would it have not been accepted without the fee?
I have an email from September 12th, actually, saying that the application was received, and I have the link to make the payment.
Okay, so you submitted it on September 12th, but you still haven't paid for it?
Right, I haven't been able to make the payment yet. It's like, I thought it was $300, but it's $600.
Okay.
So I just haven't had the chance to make the payment.
Okay, so once the payment is made, we're looking at 90 days.
And the cutoff for the next hearing date is tomorrow at 3:30 for the January hearing date. Otherwise, she's going to be on the February agenda.
Okay, so can you make the payment by tomorrow?
I would love to say yes, but probably not. I can make it next week.
I would suggest going upstairs and talking to management to see if that's something that they're willing to do, to give her a grace period since it's code enforcement. They may be willing, I can't guarantee that, but they may be willing to. Because of legal advertising, they may not be able to.
So if I make the payment by tomorrow, then,
It would be tomorrow at 3:30 is our usual cutoff.
okay.
But she can go upstairs and talk to management.
And then if I make the payment, you'll review the variance application? And then I guess what would...
Well, then it would automatically go on for the January hearing, and then that would put you on track to be in compliance if it's approved and be able to move forward.
Okay, then I'll just find a way to make the payment because going upstairs, all that sounds like, I'll find a way to make the payment by tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, so then January would be when the hearing was, and she'd need a little bit of time to get the, if she was approved, to get the permit application submitted to you all for approval of the building permit. And so February 12th sounds doable.
She's saying 90.
90 days?
There's a 2-week appeal period on the variances after, so by the time she gets it in and then we get it through review process, if there's any issues with the building plans as well. I mean, she can apply simultaneously for the building, so she could technically get through plan review. But then if she's denied for any reason, then she would still have additional plan review.
Okay. So then the county is going to try to work with you. So I would really suggest that you try to get that payment made tomorrow because they're giving you that extra time through March. So please try to have that payment made tomorrow so you can get on the January Board of Adjustment here agenda. And so I'll continue your compliance date to March 12th, 2025 with a compliance hearing of March 13th. Thank you.
Thank you.
So which case are they here for? Because I don't think I have anyone else signed in.
2444.
Oh, I don't have anyone signed in for that. Okay, I'm sorry, 2444 CESM? Yes, okay, we'll call you now, I'm sorry. And if you'll state your names, please, for the record.
James Moser Barker.
Alexander Moser Barker.
Okay, so you're the owners of the property, all right. If you'll both raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Inspector. This is case number 2444 CESM, located at 2843 Ornell Way. This case was originally heard by Special Magistrate on August 8, 2024, and an order was issued giving the respondents a compliance date of October 9th, with a meeting scheduled for October 10th, 2024. However, on October 10th, 2024, the meeting was canceled, so the hearing was continued to today's date, December 12th, 2024. An affidavit of compliance was filed by the inspector after reinspection on October 29th, 2024. Administrative costs for the clerk total $193.48. The administrative costs in this process for the inspector was $969.43, with a total administrative cost of $1,162.91. Since they're in compliance, that completes my presentation.
The county has incurred costs in the amount of $193.48 and $969.43. And it was strictly for a fence permit. Was there any amount of time of non-compliance on this one? Or was it complied timely?
As we could.
Okay, so there are, okay. And what was the?
21 days, I'm
Yeah, what
sorry.
was the holdup on the?
So When we were here before, right afterward, we went next door and we started the process as the homeowners. Originally, we were told that the contractor had to do it because he had to supply all the information. So that's why we didn't do anything. When we went next door and started our own, the contractor had already had somebody filing for the permit. So there was two in motion. And then the person working for the contractor told us weeks later that the workflow had stopped because of our application. But then I called in and I was told that that's not the case. But it was a bunch of, he's trying to do the same thing we're trying to do. But as soon as we were told something that day, it was done.
Okay.
As soon as we knew. The original thing that slowed things down was we took the drawing from the contractor out there the day of our hearing, and he originally had put that he installed all the fences in the backyard, but our neighbor's fence, he never touched. So the
Just the
person working
side.
at the desk just scribbled that. But then it was like a week and a half later, we were told, well, that can't be accepted. And we're like, we didn't do it. So,
Okay, okay. All right, then I'm not going to impose the penalty for the 21 days of non-compliance based on your testimony, but I am going to impose the cost and the total amount of $1,100.62, $62.91. How long will it take you to pay that amount?
can we do 4 months to be on the safe side?
I absolutely can. Okay, so 120 days, you will have to pay that amount. If you do not pay it, the order will be recorded just as a lien against your property. Okay? All right, thank you.
Magistrate, can I take 2 minutes?
Yep,
All right.
absolutely.
What about 2446? Do you have
Sorry, I need to probably be better mindful of that. Is that Wiggins? No, I continued it. I did not change the compliance date. I just continued it to January, so she's still, compliance had to be back, but, and I did that on the record. You might not, it was in between cases, so, and you know what? There was someone up here talking to you when I did it, so you wouldn't have heard.
There's his little house inside of his big barn.
Yes.
That's his little house inside his big barn. It's a dwelling unit. Do you have one? I don't love it. It's still not a legal parcel of record, it's not plotted yet. I don't love it. You would have to change the whole thing to that as a phone. To what? To this. It is, they recoded it.
Oh, okay. But the parcel's not.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, I'm sorry about that. If you
Oh,
need
no problem.
a break, let me know.
It's not mine to request it. That's why I gave him a scrap.
I'm not sure yet.
Okay, we're going to start over from the top.
Okay.
2468 CESM, Nat Verlal, Umrigar.
I wasn't even going to attempt it.
I have a bad habit of trying to pronounce every letter in a name, so I'm sure that's wrong, but
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Inspector. This is case number 2468 CESM for the property located at 1028 Martex Drive in Apopka. Violation charged Seminole County Code Chapter 40, Appendix A, 105.1. Installation of a garage pavilion, white vinyl fence without the required permits. This case initially was inspected on 10/25/23. A notice to the respondents was 10/25/23. There have been given several compliance dates and extensions. A follow-up inspection on site and via the computer resulted in that the violation remains on the property. This screen shows that they are the owner of record of the property from the property appraiser. And there are several photos of the garage and some of the fence, and there's structure in the rear. A couple of aerial photos that show those structures as well. Okay, next slide. Shows that there have not been any permits other than a re-roof in 08. This slide is the section of code, Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, 105.1, that was cited. Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 2468 CSM, it is determined that the respondent is the owner of record and is in possession and control of the property and in violation of the Seminole County Code. I further recommend Special Magistrate order the respondent correct the violation on or before February 12th, 2025. In order to correct the violation, the respondent shall obtain the required permits for the cited violation. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $50 per day will be imposed for every day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. The respondents must contact the inspector to verify compliance. I have presented a copy of this presentation to the clerk and request it be entered into record. That concludes my presentation.
I'll accept the electronic case file into the record. Can you also provide me with some testimony regarding the service on the notice of hearing and notice of violation? I know that you have a photo showing that it was posted.
Okay, so this photograph, let's see, it would be the first one, was posted November 25th of 2024.
Okay, I have a picture in here of March 24th, 2024, but I'm not seeing another picture related to the posting on the property.
The very first picture in
in your
yeah, it's right
slide
after
4.
the property appraiser's page.
Okay, and so this was the notice of hearing, and then how did they receive the notice of violations, though? Were those all posted as well?
Yeah, yes, they're included, yes. They're all included in the postings when we post them.
So when you post that on the property, that has the notice of violation and the notice of hearing attached to it?
correct.
Okay, and you mailed those out, regular mail and certified mail also?
It was mailed first class and certified. Looks like the certified mail was returned undeliverable, so we posted a copy of the final letter on the property.
Okay, and the final letter would have had the notice of hearing and the notice of violation?
No, the final letter would have been prior to the case being referred to the clerk for hearing. So when we first open up the case, we typically send the first notice, and then the final letter is the second notice. We do not receive notification regarding first-class letters unless they're returned.
Right. But the notice of hearing, where is that? When was that sent?
That's held with the clerk. And it's posted.
She got that, she understood that.
So I'm having testimony from Alexis Brignoni that the notice of hearing was sent on November 12th for today's hearing. Who posts the property for the notice of hearing?
Is that Randy?
Chief Building Inspector Randy Hatch.
Okay, and so does he provide an affidavit of his posting?
He does. There's an
Okay.
affidavit of posting. I can get that for you. Do you need a copy?
No, I will accept it into the record. Okay, here's, the notice of
Executed
posting.
November 25th, 2024.
Okay. I will accept the affidavit of posting into the record. I find that the property owners have been properly noticed to be here today, and they have chosen not to attend and participate. I'm finding that there is clear evidence of the installation of a garage, pavilion, white vinyl fence, without the necessary permits in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. I'm going to order that the property be brought into compliance by January 8th, and if not, a fine in the amount of $250 a day will be imposed. $24.69 CESM Ronald Moran. And he's listed on here as an heir, so tell me about that. Is he not, is there a deceased owner?
Old Lake Harney?
Yes. We're looking here.
Oh,
Do you know off the top of your head?
yeah, that should be,
That's just the notes, if you need that.
should be something that the
I don't have anything about the area in here specifically.
What was the question in regards to the heir specifically?
There's not like an estate or anything? It's just, is the owner deceased, or that's just a strange way that they have it listed as heir. If you own it, it doesn't matter whether you're an heir. And I know that that's listed in the property appraiser, that's not you all, so if not, it's fine.
I don't have any other information.
Okay. Okay, and the only reason I'm asking is for service purposes. If the individual doesn't live there and he's just an heir, how he became the owner.
We do have a signed green card from someone named Venus Moran, possibly?
Okay.
Hunan?
Moran would be the same last name.
It's written in print right beneath it, sorry. Venus M. Moran, acknowledged receipt of the notice of hearing for this hearing on November 18th, 2024.
Okay,
Received by the county on the 20th.
okay, good deal. Go ahead.
Jason Rucker, Inspector, Seminole County. This is case number 2469 CSM, located at 740 Old Lake Harney Road in Geneva. Violation charge, Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, 105.1. Violation is installation of pergola generator, white vinyl fence, 2 accessory structures without the required permits. There have been, the original inspection was done 11/21/23. Notice to the respondent was 11/27/23. There have been several extensions and compliance dates. Follow-up inspection was done both in the computer and a site visit, and the results are that the violations remain on the property. Property appraiser's sheet shows that they are the owner of record. Next slide shows that they did sign a green card for this notice of hearing today. Here are several pictures that have been taken. I was out there on the 3rd of this month. And then there's a picture of the generator that was taken November of last year. And the pergola. There are some aerial photographs showing the wood fence on the property, as well as the 2 accessory structures. Next page shows that they did apply for a permit in 2023. One permit shows that it's still in plan check for the pergola, and then there's a solar system that's permit's been issued. Next slide shows the in progress with the routing and workflow.
For just the pergola, not for the generator, the fence, or the accessory structures?
Correct.
Okay.
A copy of the workflow routing slip. System was closed 5/9/24 due to 7 days of upload period. Next slide shows our code that we cited, Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, 105.1. Recommendation, based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 2469 CSM, it is determined that the respondent is the owner of record of property located at 740 Old Lake Harney Road and in possession and control of the property and in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, 105.1. It is further recommended special magistrate order the respondent correct the violation on or before February 12th, 2025. In order to correct the violation, the respondent shall obtain the required permits for the cited violations. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $50 a day will be imposed for each day the violation continues or are repeated after compliance. The respondent must contact the inspector to verify compliance. I have presented a copy of this presentation to the clerk and request that this presentation be entered into record. That concludes my presentation.
Okay, I'm going to find that the property owner was properly noticed to be here, and they have chosen not to come to participate in the hearing. I'm going to find that there is evidence of installation of a pergola generator, white vinyl fence, and 2 accessory structures without the necessary permits in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. I'm going to order that the property be brought into compliance on January 8th, 2025, or a fine in the amount of $250 a day will be imposed. the next case, 2336 CESM. Patrick and Nicole McCarthy.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Inspector. This is case number 2336 CSM, located at 400 East Hillcrest Street, Altamont Springs. This case was originally heard by Special Magistrate on March 9th, 2023, and an order was issued giving the response a compliance date of April 14th, 2023. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by the inspector of reinspection on April 18th, 2023. An affidavit of compliance was filed by the inspector after reinspection on December 11th, 2024. Oh, sorry, this one was continued to January, I'm told. She's in the hospital.
So
He is.
So then they've requested a continuance to January? Okay, so when those happen after something has already made it on the agenda, then what we'll do is you can just request the continuance, let me know that the individual has, and then we'll continue it on the record.
Okay.
So we'll continue this, this case to not the compliance date or anything. We'll continue it completely, and I guess it is in compliance, but we'll continue the hearing, the compliance hearing, only to January 8th, or 9th. Yeah, January 9th. Maybe that's why they didn't have a, here, I'm going to give you this back then. And then the final case, 2452 CESM, Sergio Salazar.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Inspector. This is case number 2452 CESM, located at 3572 Jericho Drive in Castleberry. This case was originally heard by Special Magistrate on August 8th, 2024, and an order was issued giving the respondent a compliance date of October 9th, 2024, with a meeting scheduled for October 10th, 2024. On October 10th, the meeting was canceled due to weather, and the respondent's case was continued to today's date, December 12th, 2024. Administrative costs in processing this case for the clerk was $154.86. The administrative cost for the inspector was $915.87, with a total administrative cost of $1,070.73. Recommend Special Magistrate issue an order constituting a lien retroactively back to October 9th, 2024, and continue to accrue until in compliance. That concludes my presentation.
Okay, I'm going to find that the order in this case, the respondent was present at the hearing and participated in the hearing when he was given a compliance date of October 9th, 2024. And the order was provided. Alexis, can you provide me with testimony as to whether the green card was signed for the order and the compliance hearing, providing the hearing date? Actually, because the case was continued, was there a subsequent hearing notice that went out for today's hearing? Okay, and was that received by the respondent?
Yes.
And was the green card signed?
Yes.
Okay, let the record reflect that Alexis Brignoni has provided testimony that the notice of hearing for today's hearing was provided by the clerk's office and was received, in fact, by the respondent, and that the testimony provided by the county, the respondent is still out of compliance as of the date of this hearing. And so I will ratify my prior order of August 8th, imposing Alexis, do you have that order? Did you give it to me? Am I holding it? I'm holding it. My order of August 8th, 2024, imposing a daily fine in the amount of $100 a day. That fine will be imposed effective October 9th, 2024, which was the date of compliance, and will continue each and every day thereafter that the violation remains. I am going to impose administrative costs for the clerk and the inspector in the total amount of $1,000. So the total amount is $762.76. So for the inspector costs, it's $762.76? Or
The
total?
building division was $607.90, and the clerk was $154.86, giving us a total of $762.76.
Okay, perfect. So just for the record, I'm going to impose fines or administrative costs in the total amount of $762.76 to be paid within 30 days. And my order ratifying my prior order, imposing the fine and the costs, will be recorded as a lien against the property. Go ahead and set the next hearing for January 9th, 2025. And that is all of those are all of our cases for today. Thank you.
Thank you.